We would like to welcome you all. I am a Jordanian engineer. I have got 20 years of experience in regarding policy governance area and also about environmental development. Also, I focus on innovation and green economy, and I focus on building partnership globally and internally. I have got a blog also, and also I focus on environmental communication. I would like to welcome all. Today we have got a very valuable speaker, Dr. Majdah Aburas. She has got academic background and research, in addition to field work with working with the governments. Doctor has got PhD in biotechniques, and she also a teacher in Abdul Aziz University in Saudi Arabia. Also, she is the head of the Saudi Environmental Association, and also she is an international academic participant, and also it's organized by United Nations for Environment. She has got 2 masters in physiology and microbiology, and also with techniques. Doctor also has got many awards. In 2020, she has got the Mecca Excellence Award in Environmental for a Green Pilgrimage. And in 2019, she has got Sheikh Zayed Award for her role in the environment for Green Pilgrimage. Internationally, she has got awarded the International Character from the United Nations Environment Friends. Also, she was awarded in 2018 in the Environment and Sustainability and the partnership from Kuwait, His Highness Sabah Al Ahmed Sabah, and she has got also many different awards internationally and nationally. She has got different initiatives where it's very important ones, especially talking about the environment issues, environment ministry, and also to have an environment fund. She has got different research in the field of putting solution to overcome pollution in the soil and how to manufacture bioplastic. First, I would give an introduction. We have seen floods, wildfires, heat waves, many casualties that gone beyond expectation. Also, the report from the United Nations and the IP60 talking about there will be more consequences from climate change. So what's happening in the world? Are we have a new pandemic from a different kind? What we need to do, me, you, in order to hold responsibility toward our planet and also for the future generation? Is it an environmental topic or also a social, economical, and political topic? Is it now different how to deal with the climate change after COVID-19? Are we ready for recovery, to have a sustainable recovery? To answer all these questions, we are pleased to welcome our honorable speaker, Dr. Majdah Aburas. Dr. Majdah, you will have 30 minutes so you can share your experience and your knowledge with us. And after that, we will open the floor for questions. Thank you, Ruba, for this introduction. And all the blessings on Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. First, I would like to thank Muhammad bin Rashid Foundation for their kind hosting. And also, I would like to thank UNDP for organization of the event. Today it's very important topic. As you know, we will talk about climate change, how we can curb climate change, and this is an ambitious goal. We will talk about different aspects, and also we will have a lecture where we will talk about climate change, history, some initiatives we can do it uh, in general. Pollution now is a big threat for a planet and for humanity. The risk of environment pollution include many aspects, but climate change will remain the biggest threat to the face of life that we know today, and also it will threaten all future generations and kill sustainable development. We all know that there are great challenges faced by the world. We live under existential threat as the past decade was the hottest ever, and the world is still witnessing successive rises in sea levels, in temperature, in rising sea acidities, in storms and hurricanes, wildfires, and also then this decade will be very important to face climate change in the coming years. And in my opinion, it's very important years so we can work in order to limit climate change. So the countries that constitute the biggest for the green effect, like China, USA, Russia, China, and India, they are the biggest five countries in this regard, talking about emissions. Also, we need to live in a green planet that is without pollution. Depending on the research now, we are in emergency and we are on the edge according to the different researches. So we need to make sure that the next step will be on the right way for the ministers of environment that will put more responsibility on the leaders' shoulders to take the actions. Also, it's very important here. We face another problem that require problem. Many reports indicate for the expenditure of the recovery from COVID will focus more on the pollution solutions, but many of these monies we are crediting, we are taking from the future generation. We can't use these resources to follow the policies that add more burdens on a damaged planet. Why? Because there is a relation between pollution and between also pandemics. So we need to take these into consideration in the coming researches. If we would like to identify climate change, it is the change in the weather, and that will have more heat, winds, and it happened for two reasons. For the natural ones, like volcano, like also the meteors, and also with the other activities of a human, and start to have different changes because of industrial, like we have extraction of tons of fossil fuels for power generation. These kinds of fossil resources launched gases that trap heat. We can't say that we need to stop that, but we need to have innovation and clean green technology to continue life and to find alternatives that go in parallel for that in order to have sustainable development and sustainable economy, especially we are living at. So that increased the temperature by 1.2 temperature Celsius, and we need to curb the temperature. They were talking about 2 degrees, but now we have more than that. especially when we talk about a humanitarian that, and this is a target for human sustainability. And we have find that the people that start to talk about climate is a lie. It's not a lie. The Earth, they have different change, but what increase these changes is the more greenhouse effect, which has many negative impact because of these gases. Other notes here we can see the increase of temperature by 1 Celsius till 1997, and if we continue, we will exceed the 1.5 threshold. So this is very important, as here we have focus on it will be a threat to our ecology. There is more demand on transportation, and we have witnessed a heat wave, also crops, many dangers to human health, and that will have impact, for a great impact on poor countries, because they live on agriculture. Before that, there is a human's responsibility, not only for the governments, but also we need to include all people in order to face that. Why? Because the positive behavior to use resources like water and energy, it's a milestone to face that. The world now, since 1992, when they held the United Nations Earth Summit, they signed a convention, and this convention where they want to stable the gases in the atmosphere. After that, they signed that and they made an international framework in 1997. And also they have legal liabilities for that in the carbon print and nitrous and other gases. And they signed that on the countries. And in 2008, 183 countries joined the convention, and it was in 2005 active. Or even the industrial countries, they agreed to it. Another side of Kyoto, there's two parties. Some countries they signed all of it, and some countries they promised to help. But since this date, people attend or countries attend, but they can't reach to an agreement to face climate change radically. In 2015, where France attended with the parties in Paris, the climate change convention with many negotiations with the United Nations. 2015, all the countries signed, around 195 countries, and they agreed that the climate change need to be down the temperature by 2 degrees, and also they put here they bought the 100 billion dollars for that, and unfortunately that hasn't achieved, or even the fund, the green fund, it wasn't in the ground. Also, we have seen the first 175 countries they signed on the Earth Day, especially for Paris environment climate change, and as we know, USA withdrew from it, and after that they rejoined with Biden administration. So we wait the United Nations summit in November in England, where they will adopt what Mr. Biden promised in order to minimize the carbon and the carbon brand. We have also different areas. When we speak about the polar climate, we have a lot of ice melted. Also, we have got especially the ice plates start to melt, and the rivers. So we have seen now a rise in the sea level. And that's very important. We need to take it into consideration, especially when we talk about the United Nations summit, and I was honored to be a part of it. Suppose we are by 2%. If it's continue in the coming 10 years, we will exceed the threshold of 1.5 degree, where we are targeting that in the 2021 century. And it's not impossible to stop here, but this topic, we need radical procedures. We need also carbon active. We need to have balance between the emissions that's currently, and also how to curb the coming carbon emission. We are waiting that in Glasgow. Also, climate change will have impact. We on hurricanes. Will have extreme weathers. Also, the average of evaporation will be more and more. So that will have different new areas. It's very important to take that into consideration, especially about the distribution of diseases between the different elements. It's very important to consider climate change in order to avoid the diseases. Also, the heat wave is increasing. They also will suffer from lack of crops. Poor countries will pay the bill for that. It's very important in this regard. In the economical system, there will be change in the natural forces between the atmosphere, water, soil. So that will have impact about the biological variety, and there's also relation between climate change and poverty, especially in the rural areas where they focus more on the agriculture. Also, the poor areas, they will witness more floods, as we start to hear in Africa. There's also a relation between women and between also climate, because women got impacted from that. And unfortunately, she is not represented in climate change. Even she has got a lot of the consequences, and she is managing water and food, and we have different initiative in this regard. For that, also education, there is impact. We need to have educational system for coming generations. They will be the leaders, the engineers, they will be the creators. So if we create an educated generation and they are aware about their environment, that will is the leader's mission. I have got a vision here. In my opinion, we have got different steps and initiatives in the international and national level. And here we are preparing for Glasgow Convention. We found that for international efforts, as they are now holding the responsibility in the whole world, and we have seen His Highness Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince, the Green Saudi Arabia, where we have seen that. And my opinion, these initiatives from His Highness, that will draw the map in order to have clean environment and to lay the foundations for a clean and green environment, and also will help in sustainable development and the climate change. And as the Crown Prince said, as we are producing oil, we understand our share from the responsibility to support the fight of climate change impacts, and also we have stability in oil and gas market. We will lead the green era. Also, he add the kingdom, or we are facing a lot of challenges like desertification, and we have different the areas. So that will have impact on the citizens. So this initiative, the Green Saudi Arabia, that will curb the emissions and will help to have a green society. These are actions, as we have seen that to have a green Middle East. So the Saudi Arabia initiative is very important, and it help we can build on it globally. And I hope this initiative to move from national to be international initiative. And here we are talking about the most important initiative, especially in the agenda of Saudi Arabia 2030. Why? Because this is focusing on in implanting more than 10 billion trees, and also it will minimize the targets here, especially when we talk about the land of desertification, and we will have implanting millions and millions of trees, and to have to protect, to have reserves. The target is 17, but here we are talking about 30%. Green Saudi Arabia will also minimize the emissions by 40% with the different energy production, and also we have a green hydrocarbon that will eliminate tons and tons of carbons. Also, we have seen the invitation of United Nations Secretary, where he talking about how to fight climate change. This initiative is very important. It's like an initiative, especially when we talk about the future, but also there are different challenges to implement it in the different countries. But we can together work and we can do what we can in each country according to the systems, according to the different capabilities, in order to reach a middle solution between that. It's very important initiative, but as we said, we need to take into consideration the national scenarios. Also, in my opinion, President Biden, when he held in May, this is very important when to prepare for the international convention, because we can build on his initiative where he promised a lot of economical chances and to invest in the infrastructure, green energy, and to fight the climate change projects, which is very important, and we can build on it globally. And for USA now, they are paying special attention to climate change portfolio. In addition to that, there are also other initiatives I will mention in Harry. The Green Fund is very important, where they promised $100 billion. So I hope the world will pay more attention to finance this green fund and to put mechanism to finance these different ones. Catastrophes, the environmental catastrophes now is happening very fast. So we need to have applicable mechanisms in order to face what the world is facing now. Also, I suggest to have emergency fund. We need to have now this, as we have seen with COVID-19. So all the money now for climate change, it was turned to support the world in fighting COVID-19. in order to face the pollution. It's very important talking about the environment. It's true that industry is very important in pollution, but also the whole environment is very important. Especially, we need to pay attention to different initiatives about the green industry. We need to take into consideration about how to curb the emissions, not only in for factories. We need to have it in the whole world, in the whole planet. This is very important in any area where the human living there exists. We need to have technique also supporting people in different world. We need to support these communities uh, in the hot era. This is important. Also, here we talk about adaptation, small projects. Also, it's very important, like providing support for NGOs in the developing countries. Small, like planting trees, renewable energy, also solar energy, biogas, raising awareness about production. This is important. And also education. Education is a priority in this regard because we need to start from the base. We need to educate our future generation to be aware because the future generations, they will be responsible for that. They will be creative. They will invent, they will face the coming future. So we can't stop manufacturing, but we need to adapt with the current situation. We need to have solution. At the same time, we need to benefit from God gifts to us, like the resources, and also we need to use the renewable energy. We can use everything, but we can use it with different modern technology, green technology, to minimize gas emissions. This is very important. So, how we can leave good resources for the future, especially without environmental education. Education is very important, should be part of our education. This is very important, especially when we talk about how to raise awareness. If we lost the earth, will be another suggestion is to have an environmental network for women and climate change. Women need to participate and they need to be represented, especially when we talk about climate change decisions. In this network, we need to have representation because they are here looking after their families, and for that we need to have family participation. Regardless of their educational level, all women need to participate, even housewives, because they are educating a future generation. So they have great role in this regard. Also, another necessity, the NGOs need to participate and also to unify their efforts in this regard. When I say women and I speak about her, because the research say they are here paying the bill for that, because they are feeding the family also. She is suffering from the lack of water. Men also responsible, but she pay the consequences. When we say lack of water, lack of food, when we say drought, the women witnessed that, and also she pay the consequences. At the same time, also she is the first person to respond. She is the decision maker at home regarding waste and also regarding energy. We can't have sustainability without having women in this regard. They are a milestone in this campaign. At the end, I would like here to speak that the Saudi community in all sectors with standing together, especially behind the initiative of His Highness Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince, when he talked about Green Saudi Arabia, where it was launched in order to protect the planet and also to have a roadmap and hopefully it will help reaching sustainable development. Now we have different initiatives in order to achieve that, and I hope we can build on this initiative. I'm sorry, doctor, but there is a great amount of questions. Sorry to interrupt you. We would like to benefit from you. Thank you very much, doctor. I'm reading the questions in the Q&A section. I will try to group the similar questions in order to cover the biggest number. Doctor, as you know, we are here in this area. We have two factors: the countries which participate more in climate change, the gas oil producing country, fossil fuel. So it's all the countries here that are suffering from climate change. Like, for example, Jordan, they adapt with that. If we talk about their emission, it's less than that, but also adaptation is not easy. It opens chances through and fighting emissions and try to mitigate that. There's a question I liked to talk about chances. Now, climate change, do you think is opening chances for individuals and micro and other establishment in the whole world and in our world? And if there's chances, how we can help them to benefit from these ideas? Of course, climate change now is very important, and also there's the green investment. As you know, adaptation or even fighting climate change, we have infrastructure projects and investment in energy, in transportation. So all of that will have jobs, vacancies, creativity, innovation, small, middle, and also mega projects. It's a great chance for all companies. Even if we talk about micro projects, there is a great chance to invest in the climate change fighting projects in all countries. All countries, as part of it, we need infrastructure project in order to face that. These projects will have other mega projects. In the virtual summit held by President Biden, we talk here, we have need to support inventions and innovation, especially when we talk about the different green innovations. They need to present it to them and will be supported. The whole world now is looking for these projects in order to implement it on the real ground. This is a chance for green investments. Doctor, there's a question. If I have got an idea, is it the best to go for environment ministries in each country, or there is international platforms to support. I ask here the team in Mohammed bin Rashid Foundation to give us or share with us some of these entities. UNDP also, they have incubators, and also they have programs to support economical green society. So hopefully, because there are questions, if I am in the UAE, where to bring my idea, how to support youth. I think in each country there are platforms, and also international organizations, they have platforms. And we are looking for regional initiatives to support that. Doctor, also there is another question talking about the fires we are witnessing now, especially the wildfire or forest fire. Some people say it's by persons, or it has got different political agendas in these countries. Do you have explanation? Or even is there any political or social dimension for these fires, and how that is impacted on the issue of climate change, regardless of the reason behind that? I will talk here from a scientific perspective. These fires, because there's exchange in gases, especially when there is number of trees, there's exchange. So when the temperature and there is a great amount of exchange, that will go higher. But why we try to witness more, there's exchange of gases in the nature, and also there's now the emissions which is born in the atmosphere, and that raises the temperature. So pollution now increase the temperatures, and that led to the environmental pollution and the catastrophes. But when we talk about conspiracies, I am really doesn't believe in that. I have scientific interpretation for that, because that's how we interpret it. In the past, we witnessed it, but it was less than that. But we start to increase because the gases now is more concentrated in the atmosphere, and also the exchange of gases in the forest that will lead to fires. There's also another initiative for Bill Gates. Do you think this technology and the new solutions will help to curb climate change? As you say, this is new solutions, and everyone they try to find new solution. We can't find the results without that. But if we talk about the impact, we can't talk without the studies. There's also a few questions about the seriousness of major countries like China and USA to fulfill their commitments. We have seen or heard a lot of motors, a lot of talks about that. How that's turned to reality. They need to commit to it because they are part of this planet. And here they are also suffering from that. So they need to fulfill their commitments. As part of that, and as we have seen, they are also committed to that. and also President Biden. He promised his people internationally, and his great commitment. I think all countries they would like to participate, but at the same time, these countries they are manufacturing countries, so they need to turn to green innovations, especially here when we talk about the different green techniques that's reflected in industry. And here we talk about with this amount of technology and advancement, it go along with other technology. We can see there's more and more now focus. Also, the United Nations program now is focusing on that and the investments that will help in the different to create more chances also in energy and the green building. This topic now is an investment. So when we talk about investments and about technology, it will win. For that, this view will turn it to a success. Now, when we talk about climate change, also it's an economical, social, and political topic. And before that, also it's part of that. So we need to have ethical topic here. Another part here, they talk about the private sector, and for the factors they would like to deal with the decarbonization. This is very important to have the market mechanism, and not all countries they are aware about it. From your experience, when we talk about clean development, now we have a new mechanism after Paris Agreement. What is the role of private sector, especially when we talk about clean development? Of course, the private sector, they have great importance here, especially when we talk about industrial field. This is very important. As you know, Ruba, at the start of any factory, there is environmental assessment. Also, there are different techniques according to the product and also the tools available everywhere according to the gas that they are producing. And we start now to do it. We have now a lesson about the gases and what we can put in the factory in order to minimize these gases. So it's important to look for the gases and to communicate with the countries